Austin, Texas, known for live music and barbecue, but this weekend plays host to some of the best men's college volleyball teams in the country. It's the 4th annual First Point Collegiate Challenge presented by Nike. Hello and welcome to the Lone Star State alongside the legendary coach, Don Shaw. I'm Kit McConico. Coach, one great match already in the books. We now turn our sights to the second match, featuring the 11th ranked Stanford Cardinal and the 13th ranked Ohio State Buckeyes.
Well, two teams similar to our first match, two teams with a lot of new characters in their cast, and they're looking to find out more and more about their teams. And the nice thing about this challenge is a lot of good teams, and you're going to test yourself against a high-quality opponent.
You will indeed. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for the Cardinal and the Buckeyes.
Welcome you to the Austin Convention Center. Already underway, our second match between the Stanford Cardinal and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Glad to have you with us. Alongside Don Shaw, I'm Kit McConico. We'll welcome in the third member of our crew, Rob St. Clair, down on the sideline momentarily. Already one great match as the number 1 ranked and 2-time defending champion UCLA Bruins victorious in their first match. Coach, these two teams very similar, Stanford and Ohio State.
Yes, they both lost a lot of players last year. A couple of key returners for Ohio State, however, but it's going to be interesting to see, how things match up, and the coaches I know are really anxious to see how their new players are going to react.
Ohio State in the red, going from right to left. Stanford there on the left side. In the white are the Cardinal. Very warm welcome wherever you may be joining us from here on ESPN Plus. Glad to have your company. Top teams in the country on display in the Lone Star State. And Stanford serving. It will be their setter, Darren Briette. Buckeyes early lead here in the first set, best of 5. There was a sweep 3-setter for the Bruins earlier, but we anticipated this one being a much tighter match between these two. And the swing there from Moses Wagner, the opposite from San Jose, who's been stellar thus far this season. This is a Cardinal team that graduated 9 players from last year's squad. They have no seniors on this team, and Coach Costi, when you and I spoke with him yesterday, he said, look, we're a very young team. We understand that. We want to see how quickly we can gel. We know we can be good, but it's going to be critical that we get things on the same page quickly.
Right. They'd like to stay healthy this year. I know that because depth might be an issue, but they do have a lot of really young players who've shown a lot of promise. So whether we see them a lot tonight, we'll find out later. But right now they're going with the more proven players that they have returning on the team.
Big block there from Mandelbaum, the middle, the 6'8 freshman out of Brentwood in Los Angeles.
And he's been one of Coach Costi's more pleasant surprises this fall and the preseason. He really likes how he's developed and held his position.
Briette, the junior from Bellarmine College Prep in San Jose with the serve. The point for Ohio State. Buckeyes led by 7th-year head coach Kevin Birch. A lot of talent, but inexperienced, he told us. One of the more experienced players on this team. And Coach Birch said, look, we have high expectations. We want to see how we respond when we get punched in the mouth early on. Hurley with the serve, and Cardinal able to get it back. Opportunity here at the net. Ohio State immediately pointing over, and it will be a point for the Buckeyes.
Well, it was a trap set. Set was too tight, and the outside hitter tried to play it off the block and out of bounds, but evidently the ball landed on the line, landed inbounds.
Coach Costi, 19th season in charge of the Cardinal, taking over for the man seated right next to me.
Yep. He was my assistant for 5 years, and then the assistant for about 15 years previous to that. So he earned his spot, and now he's been at the helm for about 18 years now for the Cardinal.
He has indeed, and he's done a great job for that team there in Palo Alto. Here come the Cardinal. Right into the block. This is a very big Ohio State team, particularly at the net. They have size. You look across the roster, and that was one thing that really stood out to you and I yesterday is off the block, go the Cardinal with the point, but we saw all these teams, UCLA, you expect the Bruins to be big, but Ohio State, they are as well.
Yeah, this is a very big block. When you see, when you watch them block from a camera, one of our cameras that's either on the net or at midcourt high above the net, you're going to see how far over these guys are getting with their arms.
Big serve that time from Teo Snui, 6'8" sophomore from Berkeley. And the kill for the Cardinal. Mentioned Snui. Coach Cossey said, we need Snui and Moses Wagner to hit in the 300s. We need double-digit kills for the two of them. Snui is such a great player, but he's up and down. They need the consistency from Teo Snui.
Exactly, they need his consistency. The other outside hitter, Nate Clinton, he's a pretty consistent player, and if they can get what they normally get from him, but then Snui be more consistent, that's really going to help them. 3
at the net there for the Cardinal. Being led that time by Nate Clinton. You mentioned him, the 6'4" sophomore from Pleasanton. And right now, Stanford on a run. The aforementioned Teo Snui back to serve, the Berkeley native.
Just a bit outside. I had to pull that one out with Bob Euchre passing yesterday, so I had to throw that one in there.
You did indeed. I'm very disappointed you did not wear your black leather vest or bring your motorcycle in here, but there's still time. We still have tomorrow. So back to the Buckeyes serving Cole Young. And the big cross-court swing from Stanislaw Haczynski, the 6'7" freshman from Warsaw, Poland, part of that Polish U19 side, and they have very high expectations for number 7.
The level of play in Poland is it's one of the strongest professional leagues, and then as you filter down through that in the under 21s, the under 19s for the Polish national team program, they're getting a lot of high-level volleyball. So this guy's coming in as a freshman, but he's no freshman as far as that experience is concerned.
Has the international experience, obviously what he's been able to do with that Polish under 19 national team, so much playing in those European tournaments as well. So Cole Young, the 6'10" senior from Powell, Ohio, with the serve, and that one just through the fingertips of the libero there. Evan Porter, unable to control it, the ace for the Buckeyes.
That serve might have been sailing long, but when you're in that position, you've got to make that decision, and sometimes the freshman will err on the side of trying to play the ball. That one just like it there on the next serve.
The Cardinal able to respond and needed to. A bit of momentum on the side of the Buckeyes.
Moses Wagner with a nice high swing, make great contact. You see him go pretty much over the top of that blocker, who's way bigger than he is, of Haczynski. Oh,
absolute rocket from Shane Wetzel, the 6'7" junior from Florida, the opposite. And to some extent, you don't want to oversimplify things, but as Wetzel goes, so do the Buckeyes.
Yeah, that's definitely true, whether it'd be serving or attacking.
He's been so good, Wetzel. That left-handed swing of his, just pure power, and a great server as well. And back and forth we go here in the first set.
Well, those last two swings, Kit, those are the two guys that you would feature in this set. You know, if you were to talk about guys at the beginning of the match, who to feature, you're talking Moses Wagner and Wetzel. And those two have been the ones to show so far.
Speaking of Wagner, the serve there. And behind Haczynski. Not a great set to the Warsaw, Poland native. And we are tied at 10 here in the first. Best of 5 between two top 15 teams, perennial powerhouses in men's college volleyball. Wagner continuing to serve. And the ace from Moses Wagner.
Well, he's certainly been impressive right off the bat here. A couple of great swings, high over the top, and then that serve. It looks like he's really jumping. He's feeling good. We'll see how long he can hold this up. If he can sustain it through a match, this is going to be quite a performance.
Wagner off to a red-hot start. Already 3 kills, hitting .400. Doing it from behind the service line as well. Machinsky back to serve. First year there in Columbus. Already making an impact. Right into the block and right into big number 13, Thomas Leahy, the 6'9" middle blocker from Pennsylvania.
However, it went out of bounds, so he got away with it. That's the way Stanford's going to have to get some kills. They're going to have to work that block and go either high over the top and deep, or take it off the outside hands and try to get a kill.
And we talk about that size there. Young at 6'10", and Leahy at 6'9". Certainly very well done. Worked off the block as Stanford now extending their lead. A competitive first set, much as we anticipated seeing. The outside hitter, Nate Clinton, now back to serve. Sophomore from Northern California with the error. One thing that Coach Costi commented about the Buckeyes, he said, look, they are a very big team. We know they have size. They're not incredibly explosive, though. So if you can move them a bit, you're going to have some success.
Well, the old story, if you're a little bit smaller, hopefully you're quicker and you're going to be able to control the ball better. And then you can. That's the nice thing about volleyball is if this was a basketball game, it would be body against body, and you'd be tough to hold your own against a much bigger, stronger team. But with that net separating the two teams, a smaller, quicker team can still deal with a bigger, stronger team, and you never know which one's going to win out.
Net violation against the Buckeyes. Kamana Carrera, the 6'8" freshman for Mission Viejo, continues to serve. Coach Costi laser focused on the floor here in the Lone Star State.
That one was close, but it must have just missed.
Buckeyes immediately pointing that one is just.
Well, of course the Buckeyes are going to point that it was out.
They absolutely
were.
Oh
yeah, just missed it.
They were just assisting the officials, as all good players are wont to do. Wetzel now to serve. So much movement on that left-handed serve from Wetzel.
Stanford could have gotten a better swing out of that, but Snowy just kind of shot it over with 2 hands.
The Buckeyes with it. Wetzel able to dump it over. Stanford not there.
Yeah, if Wetzel is on with his serve, that's a huge difference in this match and in the way Ohio State plays. If he's struggling like he did last week or 2 weeks ago against BYU, he struggled with his serve, and they struggled as a team.
Well, that's one thing Coach Costi told us. He goes, look, he has that big lefty serve. We do not have a lefty server. How will we be able to deal with that, seeing that for the first time this season?
Yeah, that's always a factor. If you don't have a lefty in the gym, then you've got to have to figure out ways to deal with it.
Timeout early on. The Cardinal on top by 1 here at the 4th annual First Point Collegiate Challenge.
At USA Volleyball, we're dedicated to creating opportunities for boys to play at every level. From first serves to club play, college, and even the U.S. national teams. Volleyball builds more than skills, fosters teamwork, leadership, and confidence on and off the court. Together, we can inspire dreams and build friendships that last a lifetime.
Welcome back to Austin, Texas. I'm Rob St. Clair here courtside, talking to both coaches coming into the game. These Stanford and Ohio State teams feel pretty similar. Both graduated a lot of arms, both graduated their setters, so new characters in a lot of those positions coming into this season. both trying to figure themselves out, especially establish some offensive identities, and both are kind of defined by their opposites at this point. Shane Wetzel, the lefty for Ohio State, Moses Wagner, a ridiculous 5.5 kills percent start to the season for Stanford. This has sort of an old school slugfest men's volleyball feel to it. I love it. Get comfortable. We might be here a while.
You're right about that, Rob. We may be indeed. Nothing separating these two. There's so much talent on both sides of the floor. Number 11 versus number 13. Early in the season, both coaches trying to see what they have. Kevin Birch, he was very forthright with us. He said, look, we have an inexperienced team. We need to stay dialed in. I want to see how we respond when he said, and I quote, get punched in the mouth.
Right. Well, we got a little double sub situation right here. They brought McLevin into a set and play in the right back position. And then Tyler Tharp is in the left front, number 17. And here's a kid that it's worth watching. Dynamic. He's a redshirt freshman. And he's capable of some really exciting things.
Yet with the serve for the Cardinal. We'll talk more about Tharp, but he has a massive arm, and when he is on, he can absolutely put it down. And just massive swings there. Snooey extending the lead for Stanford, trying to find a bit of breathing room. The Cardinal look to take this first set. Riyad continues to serve, does the junior from San Jose, and a service error there.
Going back to my mentioning the double sub, it's interesting. If you're used to watching women's collegiate volleyball, you get way more substitutions. You get 15 subs with the libero, not counting as a sub, and you can have players going in and out 3 times during the course of the set. With men's volleyball, they play by the international rules, 6 total subs, and players can only enter the game 1 time. If they enter and then come out, they can't come back in again.
A massive block by Mandelbaum as tried to go right at him, did the Buckeyes. Mandelbaum having none of it.
Yeah, here we're going to see the penetration of the blockers. They didn't get over that far, but they did seal the top of the net so the ball couldn't crawl down inside of them.
Back to work goes Snooey. Right to the top of the net, couldn't put it down. That time, Cole Young. And the opportunity, the Cardinal make the most of it. Off the block, down the line. They are ahead by 4.
Well, somebody crouched down nice and low under the net when that Ohio State middle blocker tried to jam it down. He was down there ready to keep it in play. Now, those are the kind of little plays that help a smaller team deal with that big block.
Well, the Buckeyes taking a timeout. Cardinal fans that have made the trip here to the Lone Star State, a lot to cheer about early on. And these two very evenly matched teams. 5-1 run for the Cardinals, able to take the all-important first set. And Rob mentioned it. I mean, you've got the battle. Moses Wagner, Shane Wetzel, 2 similar players, both massive arms. Both can put their teams on their back and carry them to victories if need be. But there is so much talent up and down this roster, so much young talent. And both these coaches said that. We want to see who really steps up, who shows up early in the season.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity. Here we are only in the second or third week of the season, and there's a long ways to go with the NCAA tournament in May. So we've got a ways to go here, and these teams the coaches can learn a lot about their teams.
Coach Costi, he said, I want to see if we can get better at finishing. They didn't finish well against Ball State early in the season. He goes, that is something we really have to get better at doing. On the other side, Coach Birch, he goes, look, I mean, this is a young team. We have to stay focused throughout the match. So very similar to what they told us, different words, but ultimately the same message.
Right, exactly. And I think that, on the positive side for Stanford, they may have not finished very well in that first match against Ball State, but they turned around the very next night against a really solid Ball State team, and they did finish, and they won that match in 3 sets. So, those are the kind of things you're going to learn about your team. We didn't finish well, but then all of a sudden we've got some resiliency. We bounced back, so they've learned that.
Both these teams back here in the First Point Collegiate Challenge for the 3rd straight year, 4th year overall.
We've got a rotation violation. I think somebody left their position early. They have to start in their spots in the rotation when the ball's served. Then they can start making their moves. And somebody bailed out of there too soon. Might have been the middle blocker, Young. He may have cheated in to try to get into the middle to hit over from the right side.
Achinsky, big swing, goes cross court, but just along. Our first referee, Patty Rolfe, there on the podium. Sergio Gonzalez, our second referee, and our scorekeeper, Bill Forster. We do not have line judges, as you may have noticed, if you're just joining us. Snooey with the serve. Stanford pulling away here in the first set. Off of Porter, the libero for the Cardinal. Just couldn't control that one.
I've watched Porter in a few of the earlier matches, and I really like a lot of the things that he does. It looks like to me tonight he's a little bit excited about kind of the situation, you know, the level of play, and I think he's a little bit too amped because he's made a couple of mistakes that I haven't seen him make in the previous matches that I've seen.
Just a freshman out of the Punahou School in Honolulu.
No touch.
The Buckeyes take the point, and they could use all of them right now. Will McKelvin.
They got one more rotation with the double sub, and then they'll come back with the other.
And Stanford responding immediately, able to take the next point as they are now 3 away from the first set. Mandelbaum, who's been a force at the net. As you would imagine, Moses Wagner leading. He and Nate Clinton both 3 kills early on for the Cardinal. Wetzel on the other end, 3 to lead the Buckeyes. So Kai Schmidt has come on, the 6'1" freshman out of San Clemente, California. He will serve for the Cardinal. Kelvin setting back for Tharp. Tharp just wide, but you can see the power, the swing that he has.
Well, Stanford middle blocker committed with the middle hitter for Ohio State, leaving Tharp one-on-one out there. You see the middle blocker jump there. Now they're one-on-one. He didn't really have to do too much. He just needed to make sure he avoided that one blocker, but that's a mistake he'll learn from. Got an under the net, cross the center line violation on that one.
Stanford having trouble closing out this first set. Ohio State has cut it to 5. Very much as we anticipated, back and forth. Kevin Birch looking on. 7th year in charge of his alma mater.
The double sub made. Now Wetzel in the front row. It might be a little too late with Stanford at the 23-point mark.
Okuch serving. Transfer from Lincoln Memorial.
Well, that helps Ohio State.
Well off the mark, that cross-court swing there from the Cardinal.
And that was Moses Wagner. You hope that he's not going to make any careless, unforced errors like that one.
Okuch, the grad student from Torrance, California, continuing to serve. And a nice response from Nate Clinton for Stanford. Desperately needed that as they are now 2 points from this first set.
A nice combination there. They ran the middle hitter in the gap there, and he set the ball just barely over him so that the left side hitter could get a nice quick swing.
Moses Wagner to serve. A bullet from Wagner makes it set point Cardinal. They will take it 25-19. Stanford wins the first set over Ohio State. A battle of top 15 teams in the Lone Star State. And Stanford ahead 1-0 at the First Point Collegiate Challenge.
Having car problems? If you have a car with problems, text now. My Lemon Law Lawyer. We will get you out of your car and your money back. You pay $0. The manufacturer pays. Text LEMON to 40333 or visit us at mylemonlawlawyer.com.
There's all that we fight for and all that we fight against. This is the line where our nation's future is won. We are Marines. We were made for this.
Burger King has a deal for all. $5 duo answers hunger's call. $7 trio, more options for y'all. Which one will you choose? At BK, have it your way.
Icy Hot Pro Massaging Balm. Easy to grip and massage and the power of 2 max strength pain relievers. Ice works fast, heat makes it last. Icy Hot Pro Massaging Balm.
New to the big city?
Yeah.
I'm Mara.
Hi. Apparently Progressive lets homeowners and renters bundle with their auto policy. 24/7 protection for all of my things.
Hey, I love that you protect all my stuff, but could you tone down the creepiness?
Sorry. I'd do anything for you, Emily.
Still creepy.
Right.
You've got a Pepto predicament, Ace. You overdid it on the loaded fries, and now your gut is in the gutter. But the pinheads are making a comeback. Undo it with Pepto Fast Melts.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
So you can keep on rolling. When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto-Bismol.
We welcome you back to Austin, Texas for the First Point Collegiate Challenge presented by Nike. Stanford on top of Ohio State 25-19 in the first set. Here in our best of 5 sets, second match of the day. We take a look at our series history between the Cardinal and the Buckeye. Stanford, all time, they've had the better of the team from Columbus, but Ohio State, they've been good of late, winning 3 of the last 4 meetings.
Well, Ohio State has always been a solid program, had 3 national championships under their belt. Pete Hansen, longtime coach, great job there. They've had a great history of coaches and of great players. In fact, I played with a few great Ohio State alums on the national team back in the day. Mark Waldy, Rich DeWillius, and Aldous Berzins, who were 2 of the greatest of all time for Ohio State.
And the Buckeyes, following in the first set, they will look to bounce back. We mentioned this young, inexperienced team replacing 3 passers from a year ago, and that takes a toll.
Well, it has so far. They haven't been able to really get in a rhythm offensively, and they've struggled. Not much of a middle attack at all. Stanford's been able to mix it up a little bit better. Again, Stanford's come up with a few plays, like covering the hitter off the block, where they've been able to come back with a good transition attack, and that really kept them going. And then their serve really picked up, and they've got a lot of easy points off their serve.
And on the other side, Coach John Costi, 19th season in charge there, looking on. His team, no seniors, graduated 9 from a year ago, a young team, but always high expectations for the Cardinal.
Right. It's been a great year for them to get started going with this young group. And a lot of great history with Stanford. Great players, and the program's been going for a long time, and they've always been solid.
Stanislaw Hashensky with the serve to get us underway here in the second. And the Buckeyes will take the first point. It was interesting. We spoke with these coaches, and one thing that Kevin Birch said, one of their mottos is earned, not given. We want to earn points. And he said if we earn 17 points, we have a 90% chance to win that set. That was really the whole thing that stood out to him, is we need to earn 17 points. If we can do that, we may be able to get those 7 or 8 points. But if we do our job with the 17, chances are we'll take it.
Yeah, I can't remember whether it was 17 or 18. It was like 17 and 8 or 18 and 7. If you have it written down, then I'll take your word for it. But that idea is a great. I love that concept. It really means a lot. And he's got a great background in data gathering, within the sport of volleyball. So they've figured it out, and they've come up with those numbers, and I think that's way more important than a lot of other statistics that people throw out in covering this sport.
Thomas Leahy, State College, Pennsylvania native, the grad student, back to serve as the middle blocker. Right at the top, Young, golden opportunity.
Yeah, that might have been 4 contacts.
It was indeed, and that one just found Young. I don't think he was prepared for it at the top of the net.
Well, he tried to shove it straight down, and he shoved it straight down on his side of the net. So that was the first contact, and then when they rattled it around to try to keep it going, it ended up being 4.
Aaron Briette will have the serve for the Cardinal. On the other side, talking about mottos, Coach Costi told us for his Cardinal, it's no more, one more. We simply cannot get into that you get into that practice mentality, one more. He goes, you don't have that in a game.
Yeah. Well, Ohio State's questioning whether there were 4 hits or not, but I think Patty Rolfe, our up referee. I think she was pretty sure of herself.
See if we can get another look at it, but it certainly appears that Cole Young, the senior middle blocker from Palo, Ohio, did make that initial contact at the net, and then there were 3 subsequent touches.
Well, even if they didn't count one of those touches, Cole Young, he made an attack move to try to make that first play, and when he sent it straight down, it might have been him that contacted the next ball, and that would have been, then you'd have a 2-contact violation.
Our scorekeeper Bill Forster there chatting with Kevin Birch of the Buckeyes.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to get a replay and see exactly how that went.
Ohio State, a tough schedule to start the season. They get into Big Ten play. Look at Penn State. They have the Big Ten Challenge coming up. UCLA making the trip out. USC. Loyola of Chicago. Some of the top teams in the country very early in the season on the slate for the Buckeyes. Still waiting for confirmation from our referees. Here's another look.
Here we go. Here's the first contact. Nope. That was a brutal contact by number 9. That's 2, that's 3, that's 4. So, yeah, there were 4 contacts. It's pretty clear.
See.
It was almost a catch and throw, that second contact from
Daniel Hurley doing the best he could to keep that one up, the redshirt sophomore from Virginia Beach.
And the first contact or second contact double hit that they allow these days, that's one rule, but the lift rule still is in effect. And so if you grab a ball and toss it, that's still a lift.
Well, early on, hitting percentage negative for Ohio State. It was negative almost the entire match for Penn State in our first match earlier here, the First Point Collegiate Challenge. Ultimately, they could not rebound from that. And an ace there for the Cardinal. Stanford hitting 250. Briette with a fantastic serve. We'll see if he can continue. Stanford took the first set 25-19.
That's a back row setter violation. The pass was over the net. Cooch went up there to try to set it, but the attacker did the smart thing and hit it into the setter because he's a back row player and he's above the net. Ohio State in rotation 3 here, so Cooch is in the left back.
Briette and the Cardinal, a bit of momentum, and they will take the point here as well off the mark. Stanford, their largest lead in the set.
Hurley with a one-on-one situation with the middle blocker having jumped with the quick, and he tipped it out of bounds.
That's one for Hurley to take advantage of.
Yep.
Truly commenting on him that he's one of the most improved players. Had a great fall. He's passing and playing significantly better.
He's big and physical for a left side hitter. He's capable of doing a lot of damage out there.
Here's Shane Wetzel.
There's that lefty serve. It's handled well by Stanford.
And no mistake from Teo Snui. I mentioned the talent from the sophomore at Berkeley, but it's all about consistency. Can he play at that high level each and every night?
Right, it's tough when you get a guy that gets a couple good kills and then he makes a couple of unforced errors and it evens out on the wrong side.
Machinsky the other way for the Buckeyes. Talented freshman from Poland making an impact. They expect big things from him this season. Daniel Hurley now back to serve. Hawks the other way. Buckeyes doing a nice job. Wetzel.
Again, Stanford using ball control. They're hanging in there on plays where Ohio State's going up and thinking they can end the rally. Stanford's hanging in. They're coming up with the ball, and they're getting another swing back at them when the Ohio State defense is not quite organized enough.
That time courtesy of Nate Clinton. His 5 kills right now leading the Cardinal. Ray Mandelbaum with the serve. Machinsky looking for that coffin corner off the mark.
Just missed the block. He's trying to get the tops of those fingers of the block. And if you get him, it's a great shot. If you just miss him, you look like a fool because the ball goes 20 feet out of bounds.
Ohio State already their 11th error just early here in the second, trailing 8-4 after dropping the first 25-19. They've won 3 of the last 4 against the Cardinal, but they will have to battle back. They're going to get the victory here, their first match for the First Point Collegiate Challenge.
At USA Volleyball, we're dedicated to creating opportunities for boys to play at every level. From first serves to club play, college, and even the U.S. national teams. Volleyball builds more than skills, it fosters teamwork, leadership, and confidence on and off the court. Together, we can inspire dreams and build friendships that last a lifetime.
The Buckeyes, 3 national championships, currently ranked number 13 in the country. Started with a pair of losses this year to BYU, then bounced back a pair of wins over Fort Valley State last year. Finished 22-9, 11-5 the MIVA. They won the tournament against Lindenwood, ultimately fell to Grand Canyon in the NCAA tournament quarterfinals. Grand Canyon, a team who would make the semis, but ultimately not be able to get into that final match where UCLA got by the beach. Glad to have you with us here on ESPN Plus, alongside the legendary coach Don Shaw. I'm Kit McConico, Rob St. Clair down courtside. Very happy to have your company wherever you may be joining us from. For Stanford, a big point out of the timeout. Ohio State, their largest deficit in this set. Cardinals starting to gain some momentum.
Not just a point, but a point where Wetzel was the one who made the hitting error, and he's the guy who has to perform for them.
Machinsky able to get it over. Another opportunity, Hurley this time off the mark, and you could see some frustration on the part of the Buckeyes.
Oh, yeah.
Hurley immediately going back and just shaking his head.
And you're also seeing Kevin Birch, the coach, turning and looking to the bench like, okay, let's see, who can I use next? Let's see, what do I need?
Stanford, the service error, giving the Buckeyes a lifeline here. And you can see Kevin Birch, as you said, he's looking at the bench, asking who's ready, who can step in.
Yeah, he's talking to McElvin, who one of the freshman setter. Is he a freshman? I'm looking at my notes here, trying to find him. Oh, there he is, sophomore setter.
Out of Windermere, Florida, Will McElvin. Saw him briefly in the first set. As long on the swing was Wetzel, and we said to some extent how Wetzel goes, go the Buckeyes, and right now Shane Wetzel
0.
Not doing too well, particularly in this second set.
No, he just went from 0 to negative. So the whole team's pretty much on the negative side of the ledger as far as attack percentage.
They're hitting negative 135 hitting percentage are the Buckeyes. Cardinal at 321. Leahy.
Couple of great block touches.
Porter able to get to it.
Mishandled set.
Free ball back to the Cardinal. Here comes Leahy again to the top of the net. And the Buckeyes unable to get to it. Everything going Stanford's way.
Stanford's just frustrating Ohio State at the net for sure. Getting hands on a lot. They may not be getting a lot of stuff blocks for points, but they're touching a lot of balls. There may be a setter switch here pretty soon. I'm not sure, but I know Kevin Birch was talking to McElvin.
Moses Wagner to serve. Buckeyes need a point, need something positive. Wetzel unable to get it there. Clinton.
Ooh, it looked like he almost got a touch there, but he just missed it. That's a great swing. He's got to go for it. He got a nice high set. He knows he's going to have maybe 3 blockers up against him, and he just went for it and just missed.
Cole Cooch, the Torrance, California native, grad transfer from Lincoln Memorial to serve for the Buckeyes. Out of the back row, And just off was Moses Wagner. That's one you expect him to put down.
Yeah, he looked like he was in rhythm, and he got a good swing at it. And he just gave the thumbs up to Briette, saying, yeah, that was a great set. My fault.
Native Californian going up against a side from the Golden State here. Leahy off the mark, and he immediately comes up patting his head. He knew he should have done better.
It was funny because I was watching them work out this morning. They came in for their hour-long, pre-game workouts, and they were doing a drill specifically for overpasses, especially for the middle blockers. They were throwing them over the net and having those guys, do what they do with the overpasses. And that's one of the things they've done poorly tonight. They're struggling dealing with balls coming over the net off the serve receive.
Nate Clinton, the service error along there from the sophomore from Northern California. So Stanford, as good as they've been, continuing to give the Buckeyes lifelines. The Buckeyes still within 5. Stanislaw Haczynski to serve.
Good pass.
And Carrera able to take advantage. Kamana Carrera, the 6'8 freshman middle from Mission Viejo. Head back to serve. Cooch. Haczynski out of the back row.
Stanford was there. They just didn't quite get sealed to the top of the net fast enough. Mandelbaum's talking to himself, thinking, I should have had that one. You see 13 in the middle there. He waited, and then he got up, but he wasn't over.
And you see the reaction from Gray Mandelbaum. Another bite at the apple here for the Cardinal. And they take full advantage. Who else but Moses Wagner?
And again, off of Snooey's attack, he tried to tip the ball. It got blocked, but they popped it up. The spiker coverage that Stanford's demonstrating right now is really good, and that's a great thing to have in your team, is to be able to cover your hitters and give them the confidence to keep attacking.
Briette, powerful serve there. Early. Cooch setting back. Wetzel, another opportunity. Just couldn't put it down the line.
We're looking for a challenge here. I think Kevin Birch is challenging a touch on the block or something like that.
We will see as Coach Costi immediately bringing his Cardinal together, and there's the confirmation that Kevin Birch has indeed challenged the previous call. See if there was indeed a touch. So both teams get 3 challenges to start the match. If you're correct, you essentially, simplifying things, have infinite number of challenges. That is, if you're correct, you can challenge if the ball is in and out, if it's touched, a net violation, or a foot fault. You cannot challenge any subjective calls. No challenging ball handling or interference.
Well, and another part of it, see, there's the ball hitting the top of the tape as it was headed out of bounds. Another thing they can challenge is something that may have happened earlier in the rally, and that's where it really gets tough to guess what the heck's going on out there, because it may have been a net that he thought should have happened on the other side of the net, way earlier in the rally. So until we get a referee to give us either a verbal cue or a hand signal, it's almost impossible to tell on the play like that.
I'll take the opportunity again to thank you for joining us. The First Point Volleyball Collegiate Challenge presented by Nike. First Point Volleyball Foundation, created back in 2016 by USA Volleyball CEO, former UCLA and USA men's national team coach John Speraw. Looking to create more opportunities for young men, grow and develop through the game of volleyball. Is high school boys volleyball the fastest growing sport in the country, and you and I got to see all the metrics on that. It was so interesting. You see some of these sports that you and I played, baseball, even football, basketball, a little down. Baseball is definitely down, but volleyball continues to grow. You can see it right there. I mean, almost exponentially since we started tracking it in 2005.
Right. It's great if you're a volleyball person like me. It's great to see. And I've been involved with youth sports. Since I retired from coaching in college. I worked with club programs, and It's great to see how many kids come in every year. More and more kids. These clubs are growing like crazy.
Coach Birch did not win the challenge. Stanford continues to do it from the service line. You saw it their 8th ace. The Cardinals just serving lights out, and that will trigger another timeout. Buckeyes have seen this one get away from them. Stanford on top by 8 here in the second set after taking the first 25-19. So take a look at how the Cardinal fared a year ago. A bit of an off year by the high standards there in Palo Alto. They finished 4th in the MPSF, 6-6. They were 14-12 overall, obviously taking on some of the top teams in the country year in and year out as they finished the season ranked number 6 in the AVCA poll.
Well, and you also have to consider during the COVID year when they didn't get to participate, because for one, I know, having lived in that area, Santa Clara County was probably one of the strictest counties in the country as far as limitations as to who could do what and where you could go. And the teams couldn't practice, or couldn't have more than 2 people work training together. And there are all kinds of rules. But the fact that during that COVID year, they tried to drop the program along with the other programs there at Stanford, and so this program was basically had been stopped. They were the athletic director, president, and provost had decided to cut 10 programs at Stanford, men's volleyball being one of them. And so, the men's volleyball. In fact, they're showing a few on camera here. They're showing a few men's volleyball alums that I recognize, and these guys were instrumental in helping bring this team back and not dropping the sport.
There was such public outcry, and obviously Stanford for so many years and decades has provided such great Olympic athletes, both on the men's and women's side. Those were Olympic sports that they were proposing to cut, and exactly. I mean, the outcry from volleyball, from wrestling, from so many other sports, those alums did such a great job of coming together, rallying the troops, right, and keeping those sports alive.
Well, and I could go way more into it because I was part of the whole group, and the original Zoom call that we put together was unbelievably impressive, and the volleyball alumni were unbelievable as far as what they did to bring that program back.
The Cardinal with the point out of the timeout. Teo Snui. They are on a 4-0 run. Ohio State, their largest deficit, not in the set, but in the match.
Yeah, Stanford has just taken complete control of this. They're playing great, and Ohio State is struggling.
And another point tried to go into the block. Mandelbaum there, assisted by Wagner. Gray Mandelbaum, a force defensively for the Cardinal.
Well, up until now, there were a lot of block touches that they were controlling, but that was the exclamation point right there. That was a stuff block.
Briette to serve. Early. And just miscommunication, and that is symptomatic of how this last stretch has gone for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Stanford really turning it on. You can see the Buckeyes looking at each other, pointing fingers, and that is never a good sign. Coach Costi, laser-like focus. Briette with the error.
Well, they can afford it. They can afford, even though they're ahead. They can afford a missed serve here or there if they continue to just keep their foot on the pedal as far as their tough serving goes.
If there's anybody who can get the Buckeyes back into it, it's this man right here. 6'7" junior from Florida, Shane Wetzel. And Wetzel long on the serve, so one service error begets another. And Ohio State, they're going to make some changes.
Well, this is the double sub again. Wetzel's coming out because he's back there serving. So now he's no longer serving. They brought Danielle Hinwood Rodriguez in, the third setter. We've seen all 3 of them now.
Hinwood Rodriguez, the freshman from Puerto Rico, coming on. First time we've seen him. Tyler Thart back on as well. Teo Snui serving for the Cardinal.
Well, that one looked close, but just missed.
Stanford hitting .286 as a team, minus .184 hitting percentage for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear if this match continues along the lines it is. I'll be interested to hear what the 17-8 comparison is for Kevin Birch.
Yeah, minus 333 here in the second set are the Buckeyes.
Off the top, nice cover, but not quite.
Yeah, great job, Hurley, doing everything he could to keep that alive, but not quite is right. Now the Cardinal 3 points from a 2-0 lead. It was back and forth. Nothing separated these two teams in the first set. But Stanford has come alive and nothing going Ohio State's way here in the second.
Yeah, as soon as Rob St. Clair said something about settle in, this should be a real battle. Things changed all of a sudden.
The power of the broadcaster's curse. If only that were true. Mandelbaum clips the tape, it goes over.
That's a net violation on the hitter.
And it will be indeed the net violation there on Cole Young, the big senior middle.
It was a tough set to attempt anyway, and when Hinwood Rodriguez set the ball, he set it over his shoulder, but kind of over the net. So it was a tough one for the middle hitter to even get to.
Mandelbaum looking to close this one out.
Boy, this is really a mess for Ohio State right now.
Off the block. But Tyler Tharp that time, we mentioned what he can do on the offensive side, that time flexing his muscle at the net defensively.
Right, well, as a block, he's a hitter blocker. There's no doubt about that. Those are his main skills. That's what he's in there for. He's got an unbelievable athletic ability, and that's just something that if he can provide a spark for these guys, that could really change everything.
Owen Pickering, the sophomore from Ottawa, Ontario, on. But it's going to be set point Cardinal. They have made the second set look easy, hitting well above 300, and appropriately enough, their star opposite, Moses Wagner, a chance to close out the second set. Hinwood Rodriguez over for Hachinsky. Buckeyes, free ball back to the Cardinal.
It wasn't high enough. The bick that he set for Snooey just was not near high enough for him.
A rare miscue from the Stanford offense. They have been lights out here in the second set. It will remain set point. Tyler Tharp, redshirt freshman from Whitney Young High School in Chicago.
See if he can bring one from the service line.
Off the block, Hinwood Rodriguez, the young Puerto Rican, showing his leaping ability, not what you would expect.
Well, I know they wanted to have Tharp serve back there, but they didn't make the double switch back so they could get a bigger guy in there for the setter's position, but they kept him in there, and he came through for him.
Wagner able to close it out, and the Cardinal take a 2-0 lead. And now the pressure really on the Buckeyes as they look to mount the comeback here at the First Point Collegiate Challenge.
Don't freak out, but you can get 50% off all menu price Domino's pizzas when you order online right now.
Right now?
Right now.
Right now?
Right now? Right now.
50% off, honey! Right now!
Now through the end of the week, get 50% off all menu price pizzas when you order online at Domino's.
Dogman, you have all the strength of a dog and all the skills of a kung fu cop. You're the hero we need. Cut it out. Stop it.
Dogman, rated PG.
Now's the time for a great deal on a new Honda. It's time to drive smarter with high-tech features and excellent reliability from the Kelley Blue Book Best Value brand. Right now, you can get a $269 per month lease on a 2025 HR-V two-wheel drive LX.
You know, most people quit their New Year's resolutions by the second Friday in January. It's called Quitter's Day. Look it up. But what if we didn't quit right after starting? Or because it's raining or something? What if we had some extra motivation? This year, what if a little bit of help on our wrists
Goal achieved.
could help us quit quitting?
I
I gotta get Marcus some new cleats.
I bet you could buy the whole team new cleats with all that money you saved.
Nancy Dawson is passive-progressive.
You know, Nancy, that's actually really...
Nancy doesn't have progressive, so she takes it out on those who do.
You should get Luca private coaching with that. Maybe he'll score a goal. I figured you'd want the whole roll since you've saved hundreds with Progressive.
How many tickets?
2, please.
Don't be passive-progressive.
2 for Becky.
Drivers who switch could save hundreds.
Well, she's not the easiest person to please. Right, Mama?
She needs things to be just right.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, we do love her. That's my mug, isn't it?
But she needs a place of her own, and fast.
Thankfully, she's on Redfin. Redfin updates their listings every 2 minutes.
That means every 2 minutes, there's a chance we'll be back to having our porridge in peace.
Oh, wow. This one's just right.
Is she leaving? Yes.
Oh, it's happening. It is happening.
The Cardinal lead the Buckeyes 2-0 here in the 2025 First Point Collegiate Challenge presented by Nike. Stanford running away with the second set as we take a look at our stats through the first 2 sets presented by Nike. Coach, it was close early on. The second set, it was all Stanford.
This is a mess as far as statistics go. I mean, Stanford's dominating this match so far, and they're only hitting .238 as a team. But the thing that stand out to me, I see Ohio State with these 10 kills. Well, they have 20 errors as far as their attacking errors. So out of 51 total swings, they've got 20 errors, but only 10 kills. And Stanford does have 7 blocks, so you take those 7 blocks away from those 20 errors, and they've made 13 unforced errors where the Stanford block had nothing to do with it. So that's just a mess. They've got to get the ball in play, and there's no 2 ways about it.
John Costi would very much like to do this in 3 if at all possible. His team 1-1 on the young season as they split a season opening series there in Stanford. They fell early on to Ball State, but then they rebounded the night after. And it was 2 very different performances from the Cardinal, but it's early. And again, it bears repeating, this is a young team. That is what you're going to see from a young team.
Right.
Trying to find that consistency.
Well, you say it was 2 different kinds of performances, and it's kind of misleading because they were both 3-set matches with Ball State. But the first one that they lost in 3, Costi told us they had trouble finishing because they had leads even late in those sets. So the sets were competitive both ways. It's just that Stanford didn't finish in the first 3, but then the next night in the next 3 sets, they did finish. And again, another competitive match. So Ball State and Stanford, I can tell you, are very evenly matched right now at this point in the season. But boy, they've played well. Stanford has played well. It's been done with defense and with ball control and hitting when they needed it, and serving when they've needed it. But they really haven't dominated that much. It's been just dominating defensively and frustrating Ohio State.
Monica Carrera with his serve to start the 3rd set. As you saw Kevin Birch right there, I think that look says it all. Arms crossed, just looking for answers. He's been looking to his bench. He's been making changes, trying to figure out. And speaking of changes, Kyle Tooney on the 6'6" senior outside from Downers Grove, Illinois, his first appearance.
And he's starting with Hinwood Rodriguez and Tharp in as a setter and opposite. So he's starting with the guys that he finished with.
That's exactly what you prognosticated, Coach, that we were going to see some fresh faces for the Buckeyes. This is a chance for some of those players to really come on, put their hand up and say, I need more playing time.
Well, I'll tell you, I loved being in practice and watching Tharp in these last couple of days because I can see the ability that this kid has. And to give him the chance to get some real game time here is going to really help him and Ohio State in the long run.
Cole Young with the point, maybe not how he drew it up, but the Buckeyes, they will certainly take it as Young, the Ohio native out of Powell, Ohio, back to serve. This is the big 6'10" senior middle. It's going to be crucial for Ohio State to get off to a good start here in the 3rd, and they need to leave that second set behind them, wash that sour taste out of their mouth as quickly as possible.
Yeah, so Tooney has replaced Hutchinski as an outside hitter, so that's one change they made, and that could affect their service reception as well because he's in that 3-person receive.
Early. off the mark. Another one of those players that we mentioned. He's improved so much, but he's having a rough go of it tonight, is Daniel Hurley.
Yeah, well, everyone on the roster is in the negatives, but when you see all three of your pin hitters, the opposite and both outside hitters are hitting negative, that's not a good sign.
And Wetzel, negative 250.
There's
Hurley,
another one.
negative 273. That is not a recipe for success.
No, he's hoping for the touch, but I don't think it happened.
So Snooey will head back to serve.
Just digging himself deeper and deeper.
From Headroy School, the Berkeley native. Only 3 service errors for the Buckeyes if you're trying to find a bright spot for the men from Columbus. Let's see what Daniel Hinwood Rodriguez can do here, the freshman from Puerto Rico. Left in, Tooney. At the net. Tharp able to keep it alive. Free ball to the Cardinal. Wagner, cross court. Moses Wagner continues. Mentioned his red hot start to the season. Now leading his side with 7 kills. Clinton right behind him with 6. Early, and he definitely needed that as that took a touch. Yeah, Early will take it any way possible, but a bad sign as he immediately comes up grasping at that left knee.
Landed awkwardly. Maybe he caught a piece of one of the blockers. Landed a little bit awkwardly, so now we're going to see a sub for him.
So Daniel Hurley will come off for the Buckeyes. It'll be Jacko Reardon, the 6'8 junior outside from Barrington, Illinois, coming on. As you saw it right there. Hurley. Bit of a delayed reaction there.
Yeah, he just kind of tweaked it, just twisted it or tweaked it or something. Interesting. I mean, I can tell a guy my age, that happens all the time. You stand up wrong and you get hurt, but that didn't look like he did anything.
The ace is Hurley trying to help his team from the sideline, and O'Riordan comes on. Big junior from Illinois. There it appears will be a challenge. As Hurley talking to the trainer for the Buckeyes. We'll have to keep an eye on him.
They got Stanford challenged that serve was not in. Got the challenge.
They did indeed. So after review, called out. Ohio State, as we said, they need every point right now. Need to get off to a start and see if they can put Stanford behind somewhere where the Cardinal were not. And Tooney right through the block. So some of these substitutes coming on for the Buckeyes and really stepping up.
Well, again, early in the season, you get an opportunity like this, you better, this is your chance. Take advantage of it. Be prepared so that when you're called upon, you can get the job done.
Thomas Leahy with the serve. And the Cardinal off the block will have the point. And it'll be Nate Clinton back to serve.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Stanford can sustain their level of defensive intensity and keep this thing going. If they get a little bit flatter here, with some of the subs from Ohio State in there trying to give them more juice, that could change things around a little bit.
13th service error by the Cardinal, but still almost a 72% side out percentage for Stanford. So Tharp back to serve is the redshirt freshman. You can see the power he has, still trying to find the control.
Now it'll be interesting as they keep him in the back row, a player who's inexperienced and probably his strengths are hitting and blocking. We'll see how his ball control, if he gets the ball coming his way.
Monica Carrera for the Cardinal. Tharp.
Nice dig.
Well done. And here comes Wagner the other way. And a great dig turned into a big kill from Wagner.
That's a textbook transition right there. The right side for their Tharp got a great swing, but perfect dig and a great transition swing.
Herrera looking to give his side a bit of breathing room. Tooney off the block, able to come off the fingertips that time with the Cardinal at the net. That was Luke McFall, the 6'9" junior from Pleasanton, who had the last touch.
Tooney 2 for 2, so he's giving him some bonus points. They need some plus side attacking.
See what he can do from the service line. Tooney doing his job off the bench. Nice dig there from Tooney. Tharp now into the block. And McFall doing it defensively that time. Snooey there as well. Ohio State still negative 148 hitting percentage. Stanford having dropped to 280. O'Riordan flexes the muscle, does the substitute at the net, a big block.
Snowy showed that he was going to try to go sharp cross court a little early on that one, and when you do that against a big block, it's like you're, well, I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about when I talk about a phone booth, but that's when like you're hitting in a phone booth.
A lot of these kids don't know what a landline is, Coach.
Exactly.
Phone booth, that is archaic. Another block, O'Riordan and Leahy there. The defense, we mentioned the size.
Right.
And it's right now showing itself for Ohio State.
Well, on that one, Leahy was standing right in the middle of the court. And you generally don't want to set your quick hitter a quick one set right in the middle of the court because you're not making that middle blocker move or react at all.
Somehow got back. Great job there, Young.
That one hit the antenna, unless the blocker hit the antenna. It almost looked like the left side blocker's left hand hit the antenna from where I'm sitting, but it must have been the ball.
First referee, Patty Rolfe, calling that one.
Here we'll get a good look at it.
Off the antenna. Here it is again.
Oh yeah, that was the ball into the antenna.
Yeah, clearly off the antenna from Snooey. Tied at 10. Ohio State has battled back down 2-0, and they're going to put that one in the corner, perfectly placed by the Buckeyes.
Well, this is an example of usually when you have two fairly equally matched units in practice, the second team almost always wins the scrimmages. And so now you got all the second team guys out there, and they're playing together, and they're having a blast. And things are going well right now for the Buckeyes.
And remember, Coach Birch told us, I want to see how we respond when we get punched in the mouth. Well, his Buckeyes were punched in the mouth early, and this is quite the response.
This is a pretty perfect example of that.
Timeout taken by the Cardinal. A 5-0 run by the Buckeyes as they lead 12-10, but down 2-0 in the First Point Collegiate Challenge.
At USA Volleyball, we're dedicated to creating opportunities for boys to play at every level. From first serves to club play, college, and even the U.S. national teams. Volleyball builds more than skills, fosters teamwork, leadership, and confidence on and off the court. Together, we can inspire dreams and build friendships that last a lifetime.
Welcome back to Austin, Texas. Rob St. Clair here, courtside. I wanted to point out something interesting about the libero position on both of these teams. Got to give some love to the defenders. Ohio State using two liberos, which you absolutely can do. they start Grant strong in the game when they are receiving. They put Drew Hudson in the game when they're serving, except for the middle blockers, to use their different strengths in passing versus defense. And Evan Porter, a true freshman out of Hawaii for Stanford, hoping to be the next in a great line of Stanford liberos. The great Eric Shoji and then recently Justin Louis come to mind. So keep an eye on those little defensive guys.
Yeah, right you are, Rob. Sometimes overlooked. We definitely need to be giving them credit. Porter, big shoes to fill there in Palo Alto. Some great ones have been before him. Evan Porter hoping to be the next there for the Cardinal off of O'Riordan. And the Cardinal will take the point coming out of the timeout. Ohio State emphatic in their response after a poor second set, to put it mildly. But this is exactly what Coach Birch wanted to see.
Yeah, they've put themselves in some positive numbers in this set, and that's definitely an improvement over the first two.
Ohio State now with Tharp, that massive swing, nicely dug out by Porter. Another opportunity here for the Cardinal. Wagner. But Leahy there again. Leahy and O'Riordan really getting it done. A pair of 6'9" middles for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, they're starting to get tuned in a little bit from the blocking standpoint. You see they're both there, all three of them, and actually Henwood Rodriguez actually helped a little bit on that one with his left hand.
That'd be his second for the freshman from Puerto Rico. Daniel Henwood Rodriguez listed at a whopping 6'3".
Yeah, they give, if three blockers go up, they give each blocker a half a block point in their stats, and it counts as a block and a half. So when you see the stats at the end of the game and you see a half block, you wonder, where did that come from? It's usually because of a three-person block.
Rodriguez setting for Tharp, but it goes right at Wagner and Carrera. Now it's Stanford's turn to get it done defensively.
Yeah, it looks like Tharp's left side attack swing doesn't look quite as comfortable as he is from the right side. We'll see if the setter can go right back to him, give him some confidence, or whether he's got to find somebody else to set.
Luke McFall to serve, looking to restore the Cardinals' lead, and he will not be able to. Stanford their 14th service error, but I think they will be okay with that, the way they've played. And obviously sometimes that's a stat that we overplay a bit.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Play continues. Cardinal free ball back to the Buckeyes. Leahy. And it is all about the middles right now for the Buckeyes.
Well, they've been given a few more free balls in this set than they had in the first two, that's for sure. So they're just getting the opportunity to run it the way they want to run it. Block is definitely at a disadvantage when you have to send over a free ball.
O'Riordan, who came on for Hurley as a substitute, has been fantastic. As Jack O'Riordan. Stanford able to respond again. Nate Clinton there. Clinton, 8 kills. Trailing only Moses Wagner. He's in double digits, the only player from either side with 10 kills.
That's that left side combo that they use again with the middle hitter and the left side hitter.
Golden opportunity here for Wagner. He makes the most of it. Right of Grant Strong. Nothing Strong can do about that one.
Yeah, and as fired up as Ohio State has been with these new players in the set, it's still 15 all. So they've still got a ways to go to dig themselves out of this.
And Wood Rodriguez over for Tooney at the block of Carrera. And Stanford retaking the lead. And you said it, as good as Ohio State has been here in the third set, such an improved performance from the Buckeyes. They find themselves in a all too familiar position, trailing.
Setter Briette got into the block column, helping on that last block.
Stanford hitting only 167 here in the third. Is that not kept alive? Snowy did the best he could, but to no avail.
Yeah, they're only at 167, but they're holding the Buckeyes to 0.59 in this set. So that's the thing. It's all about your hitting percentage, but it's your opponent's hitting percentage as well.
Buckeyes hitting negative 132 for the match. And the service error, those are mistakes at Ohio State. They've been good from the service line, not just their 7th service error. They haven't made those kind of mistakes.
But as far as Coach Birch's philosophy is, they're in a position right now in this set where they can't afford to be giving away those points.
And he said it. We have to earn those 17.
And not give away more than 8.
That's it. He said there'll be a few that may go, and you'll see as you get a look at Kevin Birch, 7th season in charge of his alma mater. He came in looking like a Ryan Day doppelganger yesterday. I asked him, does Coach Day get his wardrobe from you or vice versa? What do you think? I said, oh, it's all you, Coach. I know it is. I don't think you could say that in Columbus, though. Tharp. That's where he's at his best. The Chicago native able to tie things up at 17 apiece. And here comes that big lefty serve of Shane Wetzel. Off the block, Snooey responds for the Cardinal. And it is just back and forth. This is what we saw early on in the first set before Stanford started to pull away. They took that first set 25-19. They dominated in the second. It was ultimately 25-14, but I don't know that it was that close.
Right. Well, using Wetzel for Tharp to serve there, that they can keep Wetzel in the back row, and you get somebody who's a little bit more proficient in the back row.
Ryan DeRoss comes on, the sophomore from Gilroy, California, his first appearance in the match, and comes up with a huge serve for the Cardinal. Their fans in attendance here. You see the ace card there. And a timeout taken by Ohio State. Cardinals' 8th ace in the match. Stanford back ahead by 2 and 6 points away from taking this one in straight sets. Again, we'd like to welcome you wherever you may be joining us from. It's the First Point Collegiate Challenge presented by Nike. Those of you unfamiliar with the First Point Volleyball Foundation, the mission, trying to create more opportunities for young men and to grow and develop through the game of volleyball. They have 3 goals: support men's collegiate volleyball, increase roster and scholarship opportunities, increase opportunities for boys to learn the game at the high school level, and increase the socioeconomic and racial diversity and extend the reach of volleyball into communities. And they've done a great job of all 3.
Yeah, the Litskys, Glenn and Kathy Litsky, Mitch Castile, I know, has been helping us a lot with a lot of things. I mean, all the people that are involved with this situation and putting on this event, it's first class all the way. It's been really, really good.
You said it, directors Glenn Litsky, Mitch Castile, Kathy Litsky has been all over. Carter Castile done a phenomenal job. Huge thanks to them and everyone on the board of directors. Such impressive people, including one Edwin Moses, the Olympian, just to name a very impressive person, but doing a great job. This is the 4th annual First Point Collegiate Challenge presented by Nike. Glad to be a part of it and glad to have you. After the Buckeyes timeout, Cardinal to serve DeRoss. Inwood Rodriguez taking advantage. Opportunistic there is the freshman.
Well, I think Stanford fell asleep forgetting that the setter was front row there. With all these double switches they've been making and trying to keep setters in the back row, that whoever was at the net there had lost track. Smart play by Inwood Rodriguez.
Kyle Tooney to serve. He's been great since coming on as a substitute. A very impressive performance. Speaking of impressive performances, Moses Wagner, his 12th kill, hitting .316.
That was smooth. He didn't even, that looked effortless. You know, it just didn't seem like he was trying all that hard. It was just really nice looking.
12 kills, also 5 blocks, and 2 aces for Wagner. Wetzel coming alive. He's been largely absent, and we said it early on. As Wetzel goes, so do the Buckeyes to a large extent, and he has not been a factor today.
Well, that's again out of the back row, where you know he's just as capable back there.
That was just Wetzel's 5th kill of the match. Wagner again, and he's turning it on. He wants to finish this in 3. Teo Snui back to serve. Stanford, a bit of swagger from the Cardinal. Mentioned that they've been the better of the two teams in the all-time series, but Ohio State has won 3 of the last 4 over the Cardinal. Snui with the ace, and now 3 points away from a 3-0 victory is Stanford, as Ohio State will take another timeout. Snui said it for he and Wagner. It was about consistency, and really for Snui, that was one thing that Coach John Costi told us. He goes, look, he's an incredible player, but it's that roller coaster sometimes. We need him just to be more consistent, not the ups and downs. We can get him and Wagner hitting in the 300s, double-digit kills. We can compete with anybody.
Right. Snui, he's hitting 0. He hasn't really, offensively, he's got 4 kills, 4 errors, and that doesn't help. But Stanford's been very effective in the middle. Nate Clinton is really, aside from Wagner, one of their best players tonight has been Nate Clinton, and it's been defensively. He's come up with a lot of digs and touches on the block. He may only have 2 blocks in the stats, but he's had his hands on a lot of balls that have been kept in play. And he's gone off, 538 for an outside hitter, especially a kind of an undersized outside hitter at 6'4". Pretty impressive.
Our game stats brought to you by Nike, and you see it right there. Ohio State still negative hitting percentage at negative .068, and that is not going to do it in any match, particularly against a team as talented as Stanford.
Yeah, and it's rare to see a team like Penn State earlier tonight and Ohio State. Those are 2 solid, established program teams, and you don't see those teams hitting in the negatives very often. You see the weaker teams out there, being dominated by the strong ones.
Snui with the ace out of the timeout, and Stanford 2 points away from the straight sets victory. All smiles for Teo Snui and the Cardinal.
Yeah, you haven't seen any freezing of the servers by Ohio State. They tried a challenge. They've tried to call a couple timeouts. And usually what happens after these challenges and timeouts, Stanford's come out with an ace.
And Ohio State is going to challenge. That certainly looks like a bullet down the line. Here's another look. The serve from Snui initially called an ace.
Oh, that's in.
That's definitely in, and the play will stand as called. But Coach Birch, knowing that he has just 2 points away from dropping this one in straight sets, why not? A bit of a gamble there.
That looked like another one to me. We're going to check that one.
Now you're going to check it out. Initially, it looked like Snui had a second consecutive ace. That would have been the 11th service ace in the match for the Cardinal. And there it is, quick review, and that is going to make it match point Cardinal. Snui looking to close things out. Teo Snui with 3 aces to lead his side from the service line. He can't finish it off there.
I think he tried to swing a little harder that time. That didn't help his technique any.
Can't blame him. Match on the line. He's hit the last 2. Certainly some extra adrenaline going through those veins there. Daniel Hinwood Rodriguez with the serve. Ohio State having to come from behind, and they will not be able to. Wagner with the block. His 6th of the match, and Stanford takes it in straight sets. 25-19, 25-14, and 25-20. The Cardinal with the win, improved to 2-1 on the season and 1-0 in the First Point Collegiate Challenge presented by Nike.
Moses had help from McFall on that block, but I think he got pretty much all of it.
Oh, an impressive performance. Stanford with a victory here. Coming up after the break, we'll speak with the Cardinal head coach, John Costi, as well as our Nike player of the match.
You're way shorter than I thought you'd be. There's a shirtless selfie of me by the dumbbells.